Hey guys, it's V2 Vengeance, and today we're looking at the Russian tier 10 medium tank, the T62A. This was my second tier 10 vehicle that I got, and I must say it's amazing. I think it's one of my most preferred to play tanks. And let's go straight to the stats. 1950 health points, which is standard for a tier 10 medium tank. The 50M has more. This tank has as much as the Leopard. I think the Object 140 has as many, and they have more than the Batchet alone that only has 1800. It's a not that heavy tank, pretty light, 37 tons, and with a 580 engine power. It can be really quick. It's not that quick with a speed limit of only 50 kilometers per hour, but it's very mobile with a 56 degrees traverse speed and a 40 degrees turret speed, and this means that you can turn at over 90 degrees per second if you're turning both the turret and the tank, which means that nobody is ever going to circle around you. Even if you're tracked, 48 degrees turret speed is very much. So this tank has very good turret armor, and this is where it shines compared to the Object 140. The Object 140 has, I think, the same turret armor, but that tank has way bigger weak points. On the turret it also has a commander's cupola here, and actually the commander cupola on the Object 140 are a lot less armored than the cupolas on the T62A. So a lot of times I was in my E100 and there was a 62A brawling me, and I shot his commander's cupola and it just bounced, because it is not really a weak spot that much. It's very well armored. The hull isn't that well armored. It's less armored than the T54, 102mm at the front, pretty well angled, but don't rely on that. Most of the shots are going to go through. Only if you are in cover and you can hide your side and you will show your hull at this angle. This is only when you can actually rely on your frontal hull armor. Moving on, the gun is a really good gun. It has good alpha damage, very good penetration, very good aiming time and accuracy, and also it is a gun that is extremely good for firing on the move. This tank is very good for firing on the move, and it has the highest damage per minute of all the tier 10 guns. Medium tank, because of course the tank destroyers I think have more. In fact, I don't think, I'm pretty sure. So it's a very mobile tank, pretty fast, and it is a very good tank for brawling, because very mobile tanks with strong frontal turret armor, in fact overall turret armor, and high damage per minute guns are very good for brawling. Shooting very quickly means that you can easily track your target and go around them without them being able to do anything. Equipment wise, I recommend medium tank gun rammer for increased damage per minute, ventilation for overall cruise skills, and vertical stabilizer for firing on the move. And cruise skills, I suggest the first one should be always go with repairs, and when you hit 100% drop the skill and choose whatever you want, because it's always handy to have repairs. So the first skill I got Sixth Sense, of course, Snapshot, Smooth Ride, and Adrenaline Rush. I got those two in order to be able to fire on the move more effectively and reduce that aiming time a lot, because this thing reduces the aiming time, and the ventilation also helps with 5%, and those cruise skills are always helpful. And Adrenaline Rush, because sometimes you are just left on very low health, and you know, matches when you got hit a lot in the beginning. In fact, Adrenaline Rush is more important on tank destroyers really, but I got it on my T62A, don't judge me. And Brothers in Arms, second skill. This was of course repairs, but then I dropped it and got Brothers in Arms, and it's really useful to have like a second ventilation. And last one will be repairs, and I don't think I'm going to drop that, because I don't know, the only tank that I played over 1000 matches, tier 10 I mean, is my 100. As you can see, the fourth skill isn't fully researched, and this is also the crew that has been on my King Tiger and E75, so it means that the fourth skill really takes a lot of time to research. So going through that, let's see some gameplay and talk about the tactics that you can use to play this tank effectively. So the first beta that we're looking at, we're on Highway. I'm of course in my T62A, and this is a fairly good matchmaker. Only 4 tier 10 heavy tanks per team. The team has 2 tier 10 tank destroyers, pretty nasty ones, the high damage T124 and the drum loader Waffentrager of E100, which means that I have to be really careful. And in fact I'm not going to put it on double speed, so you will be able to see how quickly this tank moves, especially while climbing this hill here. And as you're going to see, this tank is pretty quick at climbing hills, which is always useful. And I'm headed in a forward position near this house, and actually this tank, as you're going to see, with 76mm of side armor, it's usually enough in order to side scrape. Let's quickly check to see okay, the sound. Let's delete the voice messages, because a lot of times it happens that they talk over me. So as you can see, I'm side scraping. I noticed that WZ fired at me, so I know I can put one shot into him. And this is something really useful about this T62A. I'm over angling here, I know, but I noticed he wasn't paying attention, and I just wanted to fire as quickly as I could in him. I tracked him with my first shot, and really now he's just an easy kill for my team. I keep shooting his track to keep him tracked, and I get the first kill. This was on first blood. Our GW Tiger killed our scout. I miss the STA, sorry, the STB is the other one, the tier 10 one. STA is the tier 8 Japanese. And right now I keep putting a couple of blind shots, and those shots didn't hit, but the thing is, this tank has a very high damage per minute, and also it carries a pretty big amount of shells. I think there was only one game where I ran out of shells, and that was simply because I shot a mouse 15 times. I wasted my ammunition on a mouse. So I'm side scraping again, looking to see if there are any more tanks in front of me, and because there is nobody, I'm safe to move forward and keep the pressure on the enemies, because this is something really important, to keep putting pressure on the enemy. They don't have time to relax. They have to always think, are they going to attack? So another shot into the STA. He's on pretty low health now. I'm still on full health, so I can afford getting over this ridge and taking a shot from almost anything except a Waffentrager, because when a Waffentrager shoots you, it doesn't shoot you once, it shoots you 6 times. I noticed there is a T124, I back off, but not really in time. But for that damage he made to me, about 750. That shot there, that was fire blind, that actually hit and penetrated, so actually I was able to do to him 900 damage, while he was only able to do to me 700. And this is the power of the damage per minute. As you can see, he fired again into the T32, There's a T110. I fire once, it bounces. I know he just fired, so I can afford shooting him one more time. Actually, that one misses, and I get missed a couple of times. And let's see, where did that shell that bounced hit me? In the frontal plate. And also right there I was angled like this because I was coming over the hill, and my effective armor was a lot more than 102 millimeters. And I see there is a Waffenträger, and it is always good to shoot a Waffenträger because you never know when he's going to rush you. And usually the best thing you can do is risk shooting him a couple of times to be able to leave him as a one shot to almost anybody. So in case he wants to rush something, he's not going to be able to kill it. I got hit here 2 times, I think, by the Rheinmetall Borsig, and they both bounced because I was against him in a sort of hold down position, so he was only able to shoot my turret. And really, to quickly go through the differences and the quick comparison between this tank and the Object 140. I haven't driven the Object 140, but really the differences is that the Object 140 has a slightly higher top speed. This tank has a slightly higher traverse speed, so that tank is a little bit faster. This one is a little bit more mobile, but the difference really is very small, so it's not really that big of a difference. There are 2 things that are more different on these tanks. The Object 140 has 1 more degree of gun depression, which is useful when firing over ridges like here. But on the other hand, the T62A has better frontal turret armor. So in hold down positions, really you can get slightly easier in a hold down position with the Object 140, but with the T62A, when you get in the hold down position, you do better than an Object 140. So here I do a big mistake rushing that Waffenträger. I take a lot of damage, and by mistake I repair my track instead of repairing my turret, which was a very pro move on my side. So let's pause the video a little bit here, because well, this strange cloud, this is because of the sniper mode. We all know that when you're in sniper mode the vision is a little bit darker, and this is because this is how the game does it. It just creates a cloud around you. So let's say in sniper mode, because I don't like seeing a gigantic black cloud around me. So there are 2 enemy tanks. The STA is there, and we also know that the Rheinmetall Borsig is there on very low health. There is a IS-7 here moving up. There is a T57 Heavy, which has been staying there for a while and hasn't done anything, and I don't think he has view range to shoot from there here. And also there is another IS-7 here, which I don't know why he started moving towards our base, even though the last 2 remaining enemy tanks are here. He started moving this way. So a quick really notice on the quality of our tier 10 heavy tanks. So the IS-7 that is moving up has reached those guys. I put a shot into this STB actually. Bounces, another shot into the Rheinmetall. Actually that wasn't a bust because it couldn't have bounced. He only has 10mm of armor at the back. I take a really big risk here. He fires and he bounces, and he bounced because he hit my turret. So as you can see, and also in this position, as it happened before, because I was at an angle like this, he couldn't have penetrated me in the frontal plate either. I got penetrated on the frontal plate only by the Waffenträger when I tried to rush him. So there is one last tier 10 Japanese medium tank, and we are 4 tanks. Artillery is moving a little bit, but he's going to stop and be ready to shoot. The IS-7, he just moved to the base, and at first I thought he was AFK, but if you look closer to his cursor on the map, he's moving. and the last T57 heavy that's in the town. At this moment I was pretty sure he was AFK, so really, looking at this I7A T57 heavy, I realize it's just me and the artillery. So I'm a one-shot kill, and I need to stay alive as long as possible and hope the artillery is going to be able to finish him off, because otherwise, only if he tries to cap and he runs into our IS-7 is defending the cap circle from nobody, this is when we also have a chance of killing him. So not only I need to keep his body for the artillery, I'm also forcing him to stay there so he's not able to roam on the map and kill our tanks one by one, because you can see that they are very separate one from another, and by keeping him there in place I'm also doing a couple of damage to him. So this guy is moving around and I have no idea where this guy is going to attack from, and also I know he's shooting high explosive, and I think by the sound that the shell made when it hit this wreck in front of me. And I don't want to leave this wreck. I just want to be able to protect myself if he attacks from the flank. Also the front really looks a little bit protected because of the wreck of the WZ. And the I7 says that he finished eating breakfast and now he's ready to fight. So yeah, thanks I7 for finishing your breakfast. He finally started moving up, and he wants to push. The T57 heavy also started moving, and those guys are not even in a platoon, and I have no idea how they were both AFK and they both started moving at really the same time. The I7 says in the chat T57 finish him. So is he just... Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I'm dead. So this was really... He was a little bit lucky to hit me there. But just... This I7 just said JJ, and he said he's going to leave for coffee, and he's leaving this T57 heavy that I don't really trust, because he was AFK for a lot of time to finish off this guy. So I'm hoping now that our artillery that has one kill is going to save this T57 ass, because otherwise I think he's going to die. So remember guys, a T57 heavy has 4 shots into a clip, right? So really with 4 shots you can finishing off a tank that can penetrate with every shot that has 1300 health points is an overkill. You can't really not kill him. Of course, if you know you played the tank alright, but he fired once, he fired twice, he fired 3 times, and he starts reloading. So I say 2 things could have happened. First one, he didn't reload before engaging this STB, or he started reloading instead of going to finish him off with the last shell. I'm going for the second variant. So he got his ammo rack damage, and because he also lost some health before, and because he's not repairing his ammo rack, you'd think that he hasn't got any more, not repair skills. The other thing, you know what I'm meaning. But he just used it, so it took him almost 10 seconds to react to repair his ammo rack. And luckily, artillery does the job and finishes him off. And oh my god, I haven't seen noobs of this proportion for a long time. However, we won, and let's check some post game stats. So 52,000 credits, 2,000 experience, high caliber medal, team score, most damage, not so much damage but a reasonable amount for an okay battle to put in a tank review, 1,000 base experience. And as you can see, I didn't hit that many shots because a couple of them were clutch, but I think you could see that when you don't fire clutch, this tank is really good. As I said before, it is very good for firing on the move. So let's get to the second gameplay video. Okay, so this is the second gameplay, and we have Sniper 0312. He's on Fjords in his T62A, and it's again for tier 10 tanks per team, which is a good matchmaker, and he's headed to a position where I don't think I've ever been in one of my tanks, except maybe light tanks, to spot. And actually, as you're going to see, that is a very good position for a T62A. And actually, I think he has camo skills on his T62A. I'm pretty sure he also has camouflage on his tank. So you're going to see that this position is going to be very effective. So he's ready, and he's just waiting for enemy tanks to be spotted by his allies and get shots on them, because as you can see there are multiple layers of cover, and this means that the enemy team won't be able to spot him if he fires his gun. Now this position, I think I've been in it, but the position that he's going to take further on will be that one there, and he will start shooting and not give a fuck, because the enemies won't be able to see him. And at first glance it seemed like this S4 spotted him because he turned his start around, but actually he just turned his turn around to where the fire was coming from. So as you can see, he has shots on all those heavy tanks here, and he decides to concentrate fire on the Conqueror, because the Conqueror is, you could say, the least armored one. It is the least armored one. There is an IS-4 and an E75 along with him, and also has a really dangerous gun. The 120mm is a very dangerous gun, so he prioritizes what's wrong with me today. He prioritizes targets and choose the tank that is the easiest to kill, and also the tank with the most powerful gun. Actually, the S4 probably has a better gun, but the Conqueror has a better gun than the E75. The E75, that gun is punchy. The penetration is, I think, the worst from all the tier 9 heavy tanks, but it's enough. However, it has a very slow rate of fire. The E75 is all about the armor. That gun is just a gun mounted to be able to kill some tanks. So he moves forward and he starts putting fire into those tanks into the side. As you can see, this VK452A plays like a medium tank going forward with the T44. And I've seen that that's actually a pretty good idea. An unlucky bounce into the T57 heavy. This is where I thought at first that he would be spotted, but actually no, he's not spotted. Even though it looks like there is no cover between him. I mean, there is a bush, but he can see through the bush, so the S4 should be able to see him, but actually those trees there are also covered, so that's nice. There is the Yak Tiger, and the Yak Tiger spots him, and he puts one shot, he starts backing off, but as you can see, the Yak Tiger has lost sight of him, and that's because he is no longer spotted. So actually he knows what he's doing. He knows camo mechanics, or he has just some mods, but I think he knows cover mechanics really well, because also he knows a lot of very good positions. And if you just have mods, there are no mods. I think there are no mods that tell you good positions, and you can, and even if there are mods, there are no mods that tell you what decision to make, who to shoot, and so on. So I think there is skill involved here, and in fact I'm 100% sure there is only skill here. So he knows there is a Yak Tiger on his back, but he decides that this Yak Panzer 100 needs defending. because there is a T57 heavy that can easily kill him. Equalizer, I don't know what he was doing. He looked like he was running. I think he wanted to run to the edge of the map where the T57 heavy can circle him, and also put some distance between him and the T57 heavy. This is what I think. So the T57 heavy is dead. The T8 Tiger here is also dead, killed by the Centurion 7-1. And actually, what he is now planning, he wants to get into a position where he can put some flanking fire into the enemy tanks that are pushing for his allied base. So he's getting into a position where he can hide quickly, and in fact he wants to switch direction. He's not entirely sure what to do right now, because he doesn't know where all the enemy tanks are. As soon as they get spotted, he's going to make a decision. So nobody on this middle road yet, and because the northern flank has been secured, they must be pushing from the J4 J5 sector. So they have been spotted, and now it's time to make a move. So there is a pretty big bunch of tanks pushing this direction. However, they are being held on place by the Jagdpanzer that he saved and the artillery. The Jagdpanzer dies, killed by the enemy artillery. However, those enemy tanks have been, their attention has been drawn long enough in order for Sniper to be able to pick up 2 quick kills, and very important ones. And right now it's him and the Centurion against all those guys, and that Centurion needs to hold until Sniper is able to finish off this Tiger 2, because if he kills this target 2, he is able to push around and shoot the backs of all those enemy tanks. Come on, one more shot, and he's right now. He finished firing armor APCR, and he's now on high explosive anti-tank. And as you can see, because that Centurion is alive, he's drawing attention to all those tanks like DC-100, and now Sniper has fire on the back of DC-100, and the Centurion is dead. And right now he's again alone against 4 tanks, and DC-100 was on about 1000 health when the Centurion died. There is a Jagdpanzer 100 dead on 1200 health, and this is where he sees that the Jagdpanzer was pushing on the right, so he had no option, he had to push. So he pushed on this E100, and instead of just circling the E100, he goes to circle the Jagdpanzer and then finishes off the E100. So really good play here. And right now this Jagdpanzer E100 has absolutely nothing to do. The T62A is too mobile, and the Leopard comes, which is almost on 1000 health. However, it's good that he's in artillery cover, so he really needs to kill this Jagdpanzer. The Jagdpanzer tries to move out of the way so the Leopard can shoot him, and right now it's him against the 900 health points Leopard Prototype H, which should be an easy fight. Leopard misses. He puts one shot into the side of the Leopard. Leopard backs off under the building. After the building, he just tries to rush him because he knows if he goes on a head-on fight with this Leopard, there is no way the Leopard is going to win. This is why he's also risking. He's going around with his side, but the Leopard only tracks him, and he finishes him off. And he just finished 2 tier 10 tanks that had over 1000 health, and the Leopard Prototype A that had slightly under 1000 health, and he hasn't lost any health whatsoever, because he took 9 damage, and that 9 damage was from that Leopard, I think, that fired the high explosive shell on him. I'm not entirely sure. Either that or the Jagdpanzer 100. He accidentally rammed the Jagdpanzer 100. This is the only possible damage that he took. And 9 health really doesn't matter, so he's effectively on full health, and he's going for the 10, 34, 35, I think, 40, 43. Yeah, I'm such a noob. So really, that tank, I think it has the high explosive. Even if he hits and penetrates with the high explosive shell, I don't think he's able to finish him off. So he spots the artilleries with his back at him. He puts one shot. The artillery manages to turn around, but until he aims, he's dead. So 8 kills, a very big ton of damage, and really nice game and awesome decision making. So let's see some post game. So 140,000 credits, basic experience 3048, and that might be a double. I think that is most likely a double. Radley Walters medal, high caliber, and Top Gun. So it seems like there have been a lot of matches on those double experience weekends. Not only noobs camping their bases like you saw in the first gameplay. And almost 12,000 damage. More damage than the rest of the team combined. 1500 basic experience. The enemy 100 also had a good game, 6,000 damage, but you can compare 6,000 to twice the number, 12,000 damage. He fired 48 shots and 40 hits of those hit the target. And he fired a couple of times on the move and still hit, I think, which I mean I think he fired a couple of times on the move, and even though he fired on the move, they hit, which was the very good accuracy of the T62A even on the move. I think this is the best accuracy in the game for a tank firing on the move. I'm not entirely sure. And 42 of those penetrated. He only received 2 hits and took 9 damage. So that was pretty awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please think about rating it. And I hope this was informative for you and it made you play your T62A better. And really, a quick recap on the tactics of this tank, because I don't know if I said directly or during the gameplay, this tank is for brawling. I said in the garage, this is one of the best tanks, if not the best one in the game for brawling. And also it can snipe, it can brawl, it's good for close combat as well as further distance combat. Really, you need to know when you need to snipe and when you don't have to. Usually the decision is made if there are a lot of tanks and you risk taking lots of damage, snipe, and if you can go for a one-on-one, go for it. This is the best tank in the game, I think, to do so, except the British FE 215P183, that if it goes on one-on-one, it usually one-shots its target. So thanks for watching and have an absolutely awesome day.